Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching us live on Facebook, thanks for that. If you are watching or listening to us later, please remember that we do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. You can check them out there as well at your leisure. Of course, they do stay on Facebook, on our Facebook page indefinitely. Want to talk about these mitigation efforts this morning with COVID-19. Please remember to wash your hands for 20 seconds or more with soap and water. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at the office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Don't touch your face. Control your cough with an elbow or a tissue. That includes sneezing as well. 6 feet or more distance between yourself and others in public. 10 or less to a gathering, preferably less. And stay home if you are sick. Contact a doctor via telehealth and try to work from home if at all possible. I want to remind folks we also have a free page on our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com/coronavirus. That's where you can check out all the information we put out as we gather it about this ongoing battle with COVID-19 here in the state of Louisiana. Please remember that page is free. Getting into your traffic this morning, 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190 have some delays this morning. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central. Delays at 190 and Jubin Road, as well as 190 and 447, as well as some delays on those on-ramps getting onto the interstate. So a little more traffic as it ramps up as we move towards what might be an end to the stay-at-home order. We'll discuss that in just a minute. I-12, however, still pretty clear this morning. It's currently 55 degrees, very sunny outside. It's going to stay that way today. 82 is your high today, 58 your overnight low, so going to be another chilly one. Talking about your coronavirus statistics here in Louisiana, 31,600 cases, 20,316 recovered, 215,000 tests, 1,324 hospitalized on 161 ventilators, 2,213 deaths. In Livingston Parish, 278 cases with 24 deaths on 3,400 tests. We talked about it earlier, but today the governor is going to be discussing the stay-at-home order. A lot of people have their fingers crossed that he will announce we will be moving into phase 1 as of Friday, which will be the 15th. That is when his secondary proclamation that extended it is scheduled to end. He will go on at 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, so please keep an eye on that. Please remember that we do have live updates on our Facebook page. We do share his live video if you'd like to watch it. We also just give you sort of a play-by-play. There's a little picture that we post that has the day's statistics, and then I post underneath it. I'm also on Twitter. You can check me out there, McHugh David 41. I give the same play-by-play in that arena as well. Just kind of depends on which one you want to watch more closely, I guess you can say. But again, that'll be today, 2:30 p.m. The governor will give an announcement on what's going on with the stay-at-home order. It is expected that we will move into phase 1. Most of those areas that were problem areas when he extended it have now either been pushed into a plateau or a decline. So we will see what he has to say this afternoon. Of course, if he does remove or say that he's going to not extend the stay-at-home order on the 15th, getting a couple of days notice here so business can prepare, call their folks back to work, that sort of thing. So please keep an eye on our Facebook page this afternoon. We'll let you know what's going on. This all comes on the heels of an announcement Friday, sort of a deep dive on the contact tracing program. I want to remind folks that this is optional. We had a lot of folks on our Facebook page who kind of freaked out about this, who said, Big Brother was watching and things of that nature. You don't have to take the call. You don't have to answer the questions. You can only answer some of the questions if you'd like. It's really up to you. One thing that the governor did want to remind folks is that in places like Germany, Sweden, South Korea, places that have stayed in front of the virus the entire time, contact tracing has been a part of that. So whether or not you want to participate, of course, is totally up to you. But it is a way to help the state and help your neighbors stay ahead of the virus. The whole point of the program is that once somebody is diagnosed with COVID-19, they'll receive a phone call. Part of that phone call is going to be asking a series of investigative questions. Where have you been lately? Who have you been around? That sort of thing. In a lot of cases, if you had been going to work, your employer is going to get a call to let them know. Hopefully you'd call your employer anyway. And people at the office would be asked, have you been around that person, that sort of thing. What they're trying to do is develop concentric circles in and around anybody who is diagnosed with COVID-19 to see who it might behoove to stay at home for 2 weeks, quarantine, that sort of thing. So what they're working on right now is trying to hire people. If you are interested in being a contact tracer, you must be a high school graduate. You must be willing to submit to some rigorous training because this is a delicate subject. You have to be willing to sign some legal forms because, of course, this information is private. You can email contacttracing@la.gov. They have roughly 100. They're trying to get about 250 trained by the end of this week to go ahead and start the program. 700 tracers is kind of what they have their eyes set on. That would be the Louisiana Department of Health. They'll be working towards that goal. It's based on a model they have in Massachusetts. So it'll be interesting to see just how many tracers they're able to pull and how big the program will get. Increased testing and contact tracing are part of the economic reopening strategy. This is delivered by the federal government. So there's going to be a lot of states that are going to be engaging in contact tracing, not just Louisiana. So this is something that'll be going on nationwide. Again, want to remind folks, it is optional. You do not have to take the call. You do not have to answer the questions, or you can only answer some of the questions. It's totally optional, and it is up to you. According to the governor, it's just he's going to ask people to be a good neighbor. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But please remember that increased coronavirus testing, as well as things like contact tracing and serology testing, are all part of that increased testing package that's supposed to help us stay ahead of the virus once we kind of reopen the economy and people start going back to work, and especially start going to entertainment venues where they're going to be hanging out pretty close to other people. Even if you're looking at social distancing, there are reports that coronavirus can be circulated via the air conditioning system. So it's going to be interesting to see how some people deal with that. At any rate, that is what contact tracing is. If you do get diagnosed with COVID-19 in the future, expect to get a phone call from the State Department of Health. Unemployment, the Unemployment Trust Fund at the moment appears to be solid. Had over almost $1.1 billion at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the State Secretary Ava Dejoie, who is Louisiana Workforce Commission Secretary. They have so far issued about $250 million to Louisiana residents, combined with that $600 boost from the federal government. LWC has funneled about $1 billion to unemployed. You're looking at roughly 1 in 3 Louisiana residents are currently unemployed. Once the fund hits about $750 million, that max state value of $247 a week will probably be reduced. The governor did not say what that reduction will look like. There's just certain thresholds in the fund to keep it solvent, to at least keep money flowing out. As you know, we've been in this for about 7 weeks now, and they've funneled out about $250 million from the state's own coffers. Of course, the federal benefit of $600 a week lasts for unemployed through July 31st. So there's still plenty of time to get back on your feet, get a job, but you're looking at that's still another about 10 weeks. So not entirely sure how many more reductions will be seen in that $247 mark, but they are expecting at least one before the end of the unemployment distribution, I guess you can say. Interesting statistics in the real estate world coming through April 30th. 79 more homes sold this year through April 30th as opposed to 2019. So the real estate market was rocking and rolling in Livingston Parish through April 30th. Now, one thing that should be noted is that a lot of those folks that ended up closing in April were either looking for homes in March or were waiting for their financing to clear. So it's going to be interesting to see what May and June look like. Usually April's about when the real estate market starts to heat up. and you usually get 4 or 5 months between April or the really May, June, July. So April's one of them before you kind of get back to school and things of that nature. A lot of people end up closing on their homes in August as well. So you get those numbers aren't reported until these homes are closed and officially sold. So a lot of times there's a 30-day lag as people work through financing and that sort of thing. So please keep that in mind. A lot of these folks were looking for homes in March and had found what they wanted. Some anecdotal evidence from real estate agents suggests that while there aren't as many people looking, they are more deliberate. You know, they want to go ahead and make that move. So if they are out and about looking, they are serious buyers or sellers. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in May and June to those real estate numbers. However, so far, $23 million more in inventory sold in 2020 through April, as opposed to 2019, at $14,000 more average per house, which pushes the average home sold price through April up to $207,000. So Livingston Parish kind of breaking into that $200,000 average per home sold. Those prices usually go up over the summer as well. Senator John Kennedy joined a bipartisan group on Friday investigating payments made to the deceased via the stimulus. Something that has come up in the past few weeks is that stimulus checks were sent to family members who had passed but were still alive on either their 2018 or 2019 tax return. And so one of the things that Senator John Kennedy and the rest of this group are looking into is why. And second, what is the IRS doing to get the money back? According to the U.S. Treasury, anyone that received a payment on behalf of a deceased family member should return that money to the IRS. They didn't really give a whole lot of explanation other than, I guess, ship them a check. So you need to, if you did receive an extra payment because of a family member who did file taxes in 2018 or 2019 but is no longer with us, please contact the IRS and see just exactly how you need to deliver that money back to them. Of course, again, Senator Kennedy is looking into why this happened and how they're planning to get that money back. A lot of that goes into the fact that Kennedy is also looking to expand the CARES Act. And when I say expand, I more just mean remove a lot of restrictions that have prevented governments from using some of this money. We've talked about it before. Louisiana state government received $1.8 billion from the federal government, but are restricted in how they can spend that money. They can only spend it on, I guess you can say, actions that are active in battling COVID-19, as opposed to shoring up revenue loss. Right now, the revenue loss for Louisiana is potentially $1.1 billion. Now, that $1.8 billion, only about 55% of it's going to stay with the state. 45% is going to go to smaller local governments to try to do the same thing, for money to battle COVID-19. It's going to be interesting to see if he's able to remove some of those restrictions so that at least some of that shortfall can be, I guess you can say, shored back up with that money from the federal government. That's what Senator John Kennedy would like to happen. So we'll keep an eye on that process and see. As of right now, the state is expecting to have about a $500 million deficit as they expect a revenue estimating conference either today or tomorrow. And then they will work forward from there trying to establish a budget before June 4th. It is expected that they're not going to be able to establish that budget, and they're going to have to move the session into a special session right after. Of course, July 1st or June 30th at midnight is that drop-dead date for a budget before the state just doesn't operate until a budget is complete. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. 20 Live Oak area students were each recorded individually via Zoom singing various parts of the song Hallelujah. Miss Erin Caraway's talented music class in the Live Oak area sort of all came together and all sang these different parts, and she pulled the videos together in a collage. It'll give you chills. That's the name of that's the title of it, and if you watch it, it really will. Please go check that out. You can see it on the Livingston Parish Public Schools Facebook page. You can also see the video on our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com. It's an amazing video. It's very well done. Highly recommend you go check that out. Miss Courtney Blunt's second grade class at Frost School received a very interesting care package from President Donald Trump's office. Back at the beginning of the semester, roughly the end of January, beginning of February, somewhere in there, her class all wrote letters to President Donald Trump. Everything from pretty simple, "Hi, how are you?" to "Don't give up." One guy said, one little kid said, "Don't let them impeach you." Another kid was trying to talk to him about what he thought Congress should do. It was all very interesting. But they received a care package back from President Donald Trump, thanking them for the letters. And it had a flag and other goodies in there as well. So I know that was very exciting for that class. Getting back into these mitigation efforts real quick. Wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds or more. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at the office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Don't touch your face. Control your cough with an elbow or a tissue. That includes sneezing as well. 6 feet or more between yourself and others in public. 10 feet or less 10 or less to a gathering at home or at the office. Stay home if you are sick, and utilize telehealth to get in touch with your doctor, and try to stay home to work if at all possible. I'm sorry, folks. I always forget to don't touch your face, so I laugh when I remember it. Please remember these coronavirus statistics: 31,600 cases, 20,316 recovered on 215,000 tests, 1,324 hospitalized on 161 ventilators, 2,213 deaths. 278 cases in Livingston Parish on 24 deaths with 3,400 tests. I want to remind folks today, this afternoon, the governor will have his announcement on the stay-at-home order. Please remember you can watch his video, his live video on his Facebook page. We also share it to ours. You can also follow along with me on Twitter or on Facebook. I do post live updates, so we'll get the 411 on that today. With your traffic today, please remember you're looking at heavier delays than normal. 4H Club Road, River Road, and 190 having some delays. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central. 190 in Jubin and 190 and 447. You're pretty typical little backups there. The on-ramps are seeing delays getting onto I-12 and Walker, Jubin, and Denham Springs. I-12, however, still relatively clear. Not quite enough traffic going back to work yet. It's currently 56 degrees. 82 degrees is your high today. 58 degrees your overnight low. Going to be sunny all day. Going to be a beautiful day. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Please remember we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month for that. It comes straight to your mailbox. We are also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have an app to go with that. We also have a coronavirus page, which is free, which has all the coronavirus information you could possibly want. We also have a podcast page for these shows and our long-form podcasts, which is free, and you can go check out audio and video versions as well. Hope you enjoy this beautiful day. Keep your fingers crossed for this afternoon. Right now, everything's looking pretty good to get an announcement that the stay-at-home order will not be extended on May 15th, but I can't make any promises. I am not the governor, but please keep an eye on our Facebook page and on our Twitter. We'll keep you updated live as it goes on. Hope you have a great day. It is a beautiful one out there, and we will see you guys in the morning.